AM 1230 KTRF, Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Sunshine, 63 degrees. Good morning. Thursday morning, it is the 5th of July, and it's our first edition of Mark Allen's Hometown Heroes. Today on the show, Jared Rhodes with the Thief River Falls Ambulance. Our Hometown Heroes brought to you by Oakley Quilting, Roxbury Truck Repair, and Marco. Welcome to our first edition of Hometown Hero, and with us is Jared Rhodes. Jared, congratulations on being our first interview on Hometown Heroes.
Well, thank you. I feel honored.
And thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I always like coming down here with you guys. So.
Good to visit with you. On today's show, first off, we want to introduce Jared. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jared Rhodes. I'm paramedic here in Thief River Falls. Been a paramedic now for 15 years. Moved here about 2 years ago from Oklahoma. So if you hear an accent, that's where that's from. I started in EMS through the fire service and just kind of went from there. So,
And family, you said, as far as family, your family?
My family's spread all over the United States. So my dad actually is the only one that's up this way, and he's the camp host down at the RV park here in town.
Oh, okay.
But he does that in the summertime. Then they go to Florida for the winter, like a lot of people here too. So
certainly. All right. Now, of course, you are with the Thief River Falls Ambulance Service.
Yes, sir.
Tell us. So, what is your job as a paramedic?
Well, we respond to emergency calls. We do transfers from people here at our local hospital to level 1 hospitals and different hospitals outside of town. We do a lot of just backing up other services and working with the other first responder services and things like that. So basically, we're just We're what shows up when you call 911 for a medical emergency. So,
and it could be anything from something fairly minor to something fairly serious.
It's everything. Yeah. It's car wrecks, sick people. Grandma needs a ride to the nursing home, or grandma needs a ride to the hospital, or somebody's chest is hurting, or difficulty breathing, or baby fell off the couch, or There's a million scenarios.
What are some of the worst calls? When you hear this call, it really gets you going.
Absolutely, kids. Anything that has to do with kids, it's tough. Even if it's minor, just that initial call for me,
I think you're like a lot of people. When you hear there's kids involved, it's
almost hair on your neck stands up. So.
All right. Why did you choose the ambulance service?
I think the variety. When I got into fire, I was on a volunteer fire department, and you might be busy one month and not busy the next month. But if you were doing first responder stuff, then you got all the medical calls. So I thought, I want to do that. And then next thing I know, I got my first responder, and thought, wow, I got to run 3 more calls this month. That was fun, and back then I was doing another job. I was like banker stuff then. So that was my fun time. And so I said, man, I just want to make my fun time my work. So the variety, I think, is what pulled me in. And the further I get along, the more stuff you can do, the more interesting it gets, it seems like. So the rush of something different every time the radio goes off, I think.
Jared Rhodes, our guest with the Thief River Falls Ambulance on our Hometown Heroes, brought to you today by Oakley Quilting, Roxbury Truck Repair, and Marco. How do you save a life? We're going to have Jared tell us here in just a moment. Hey, for July, they have 25% off at Oakley Quilting Supply. 25% off seasonal fabrics that include Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and fall. They also have 25% off all quilts. Oakley Quilting Supply carries many quilting lines that include Henry Glass, Quilting Treasures, and many more as well. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturday, 9 to noon. And Roxbury Truck Repair, a truck stop. They are your truck shop, truck and trailer and maintenance repair. That's Roxbury Truck Repair of Thief River Falls. And Marco Communication Tools, copiers, IT services, and maintenance. Check them out, marconet.com. On today's Hometown Heroes, Jared Rhodes, our guest. He's with the Thief River Falls Ambulance Service, and we say, how do you save a life? I know there's no easy answer, and there's no one answer, but when you get a call and somebody is down, the basics of saving a life, there are some basics, aren't there?
There are. Anybody can take a CPR class. That's one way to save a life, is just to know CPR. But really, it's just knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more chance you'll have to save someone. So, start at CPR. If you know how to do chest compressions, that's huge. If somebody needs chest compressions, but if you're talking, paramedic level, you might go to someone's house that has an acute issue that you can't see readily, but there's, you may save their life by starting an IV and giving them some kind of medication that's going to reverse some sort of cardiac dysrhythmia or something like that. So I think saving a life has a lot to do with how much education or how much information that you have on the human body and how to correct certain problems. So,
and CPR has changed over the years, hasn't it?
It's changed a lot. It's changed probably 3 or 4 times since I started, if not more. So, when I started there, it was all about airway. They wanted you to make sure you had open airway and were giving good breaths and mouth to mouth or mask to mouth, or however you could get breaths in. And they've since changed to where compressions is the most important. They've found that, the more times you can compress the chest, the more the blood flows through to the brain, which is the point of CPR. And the point of doing CPR is to actually keep the brain perfused and hopefully restart that heart. So chest compressions keeps the brain perfused better than just giving breaths. So
if you learn how to do chest compressions, you could save a life.
You could save a life.
All right. What's the best part of your job, Jared?
I think interacting with the public. I love talking to people. I love talking to you. This is a fun thing to do in my job. So, and this is kind of new to me, taking on the supervisory role. I ended up being a part of more of the community, outings or what have you with the company. But I've always just liked being out in the community, working close with the other, like the law enforcement and fire and just anybody, from holding somebody's hand on the way to a transfer to just talking to some small child about the ambulance. All of that is what I love.
All right. And finally, how does one get into the field of a paramedic?
Well, you need to start out with finding a class. So you would probably start out with CPR. And you can look on our website, particularly in this area. You could look on sanfordhealth.org. There are classes. You can look at fmambulance.com. They have EMT classes. We're probably going to be doing an EMT class here in the fall. If you want to, that would be the basic starting point for EMS, would be an EMT basic class.
All right.
So,
Jared, thanks so much for stopping in. We appreciate it. I know you're on call this morning, so we'll let you go before you get called.
Right. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me. Always like coming down here. So,
Jared Rhodes from the Thief River Falls Ambulance, our first guest of Hometown Heroes. Hometown Heroes brought to you by Oakley Quilting Supply, by Roxbury Truck Repair, and by Marco. Join us Thursday mornings, 9:45, for another edition of our show called Hometown Heroes from KTRF.